Hey peeps, I'm currently sat in the car. Eowyn's in for another settle at nursery, and sorry, I'm not looking at camera, the camera thing's over here. And I don't have a dash mount thing for the car. I have ordered one, because I know a lot of people do recordings and stuff in their cars. I usually prefer to walk around, while I'm doing obviously a walk and talk video. But I'm not really feeling it today because she has not been sleeping well. She's got a bit of a cold, and we don't know whether that's because she was exposed to dairy. Because when she is exposed to dairy, she tends to get cold, symptoms like runny nose, etc. And obviously that's been making her feel a little bit crap. So that just confirms in our mind, that and the rash confirms in our mind that she has a milk allergy as opposed to just an intolerance, which is what I have. I'm intolerant. If I obviously have dairy, it's not great. It will make me feel really, really horrible later on. But hers was basically immediately after she had food that this rash started to appear, and the cold like symptoms always takes a couple of days for some reason. I don't know how that works. If anybody knows how that works, can you please let me know in the comments. So she is in today. She's only in for an hour and a half to see how that goes, because last time she was in, obviously she wasn't feeling great. It was 2 days after she'd been exposed to milk. The cold symptoms hadn't manifested yet. They didn't come out until Tuesday. I am running on 6 hours sleep over the past 2 days, so it's obviously, as you can see, I don't usually use filters on videos, but this one, I've added a little soft filter because the bags under my eyes are impressive. IKEA would have a difficult time getting bags bigger than these, and I know their bags are pretty big. So anyway, I've just bought a dash cam mount for the phone, not for videos specifically, although obviously I'm not gonna lie, it'll probably get used for that at some point. Mainly because our dash cam sucks, and I was thinking we are wanting to upgrade our phones soon. I want to get the Google Pixel 7a, mainly for the, obviously as a photographer, mainly for the camera aspect of phone, as long as it can phone people, text people, go on the internet, and has a camera, a decent camera. I'm good, I'm happy. I don't need any fancy gadgets or stuff. One thing that still annoys me though is that Android, now Apple has this app that I can't access because obviously I don't have Apple. I've never had Apple. I don't know how to work Apple products. I'm happy with Android products. But for the fact that, can someone please make a BSL app with the finger spelling symbols that I can use on a keyboard? Apple has an app for that, and I tried so many things. I researched how to use Apple apps on Android. It's not happening. It's not happening. I tried so hard, and obviously I'm not wearing my hearing aids. If a lot of people know me that know I tend not to wear my hearing aids. I do have bilateral degenerative hearing loss. And obviously when you hear the word bilateral, you think, oh, I'm losing it in both ears equally at the same time. That's not how it works. I am losing my hearing in both ears, but it's not equal, I think. Despite the fact that I think I hear better with my right ear, apparently my left ear's better. So I don't know how that works. The audiologist isn't too sure, but I'll always defer to my right ear when I'm trying to hear something. Maybe that's because I'm right side dominated, I don't know. But anyway, obviously I'm a bit apprehensive this morning because she's in for another settle-in period, and because obviously she is a child with additional support needs, it's taken a little bit longer than it would than that of a typical child. By now, I think we're into like week 3. She probably would have already been in for her full hours, if not for the fact that she is developmentally delayed, queried autistic. But also yesterday we had an appointment, well, I say I had an appointment with her speech and language therapist. Absolutely lovely woman. We got on really well, which is great, which is what you want in a professional parent relationship. You want that, you want that bond. You need to be able to cooperate for what's best for your child. And unfortunately, some parents and professionals just grind on each other. Some humans just don't get along, and that is perfectly okay. You don't have to like everybody, but obviously these are the people that are helping support your child, so it's best to try and cooperate as much as possible. Everybody ideally wants what's best for the child. Unfortunately, that isn't always the case. But obviously I've been through all the speech and language stuff before with Nathan, not so much Isabel, because she has always been verbal. She has selective mutism, which means when she is emotionally distraught, she cannot verbalize pretty much at all. She can't tell you why she's upset. She can't speak. Her anxiety is through the roof. But apart from that, in all things, and apart from her anxiety, she is verbal. She has always been verbal. Nathan didn't start becoming competently verbal until he was 4 years old. So we've been through speech and language before. Obviously, I use some sign assisted English at home, which uses BSL signs. There's a little girl outside waving to me in her buggy because there's like a group of mums just chatting. So yeah, I'm obviously in the car, just round from her nursery, sitting doing this. I might go for a walk actually, we'll see how it goes. Oh, she's so cute. Obviously I'm not going to show you guys because obviously that's, someone else's kid. I'm not going to do that. If I was out walking around and someone was like walking past me and I was doing a video, that would be fine because I'm in a public place. But obviously this group of mums are having a private conversation and I'm not about videoing, other people's kids just willy-nilly. Yeah, but as I was saying, speech and language therapist was really, really good, really cooperative. Eowyn is doing object signifiers, which means she will bring us an object like her cup or a wrapper to indicate I want juice or I want food, or she will lead us to the baby gate and lead us to what she wants, whether that's her toys, whether that's the kitchen, whether that's a bathroom for a bath or to wash her hands, etc. So you don't like to compare children with additional support needs because they're all different, but obviously as a parent of these two children, Nathan was not at the stage she is at currently when he was her age. He was a lot more developmentally delayed at the age and stage of development that she's currently at. So to us as parents, obviously that is beneficial for her. We think she is going to be between sort of, Isabel's high functioningness and Nathan's intellectual disability side. We don't know what that's going to mean in future because obviously we could be entirely wrong. She may never be verbal, which is fine. We have absolutely no problems. Like everybody, as the speech and therapist was saying, like obviously a lot of parents come in there with the expectation that they're going to have, maybe a couple of appointments. They're going to bing bang boof and then they're going to tell them what's up, and then the speech and language therapist will be able to fix their child, and then they'll be able to talk and it'll be fine and everything will be rosy and right with the world. That's not the way language works, and 90% of language is non-verbal anyway. So obviously, as a person with degenerative hearing loss and with children with communication difficulties, I have absolutely no issues with never having verbal language in my house. It is, obviously, it's convenient, it's easy when you know how, but when that is not something you can access, whether that's due to intellectual communications, cognitive issues, being deaf, or other communication difficulties, when that is not something you can easily access, verbal communication, obviously other avenues of communication need to be explored. And obviously in our home, predominantly that is signing, whether that's Makaton, sign along, or sign supported English. I won't say BSL, because despite the fact sign supported English uses British Sign Language signs, British Sign Language and SSE are two different kettle of fish. British Sign Language is its own language in its own right with its own syntax. So the go-to explanation I like to use is, instead of saying to someone, like any language, which obviously has different ways of, wording sentences, instead of saying to someone, what's your name, in English, and I would sign it that, like, I'm going to say, like, what's your name? Instead, in BSL, it'd be like, your name what? Because they put like the most important thing first, which is your name. Well, you are the and then, to direct that they are referring to you and asking you directly what your name is. So obviously I speak English, I use English syntax, so I sign in English. And it says, because the schools, now this drives me nuts, right? I understand from a professional point of view wanting to simplify things for kids with additional support needs, but Makaton, I do not see the need. I honestly, there's already, an established language out there, a whole language that obviously already has like BSL. We can already utilize BSL signs for English, so sign supported English. Why not use that? And people turn around and say, oh, Makaton is easier for kids with additional support needs. I'm like, I have used BSL signs at home. I currently use BSL signs at home. I would prefer my children to use BSL signs because BSL is a language, and BSL is a thing. I think Makaton and Sign Along will eventually fade out and die over time. I think they will disappear eventually. They'll be replaced with something else, whereas British Sign Language and the signs inherent with British Sign Language are already an established language. And I think we're doing a disservice to our children and to anyone with communication difficulties by not having the ability to access classes and courses. Like parents of kids with additional support needs with communication difficulties are offered courses on Makaton and Sign Along. We are not offered courses on British Sign Language or SSE. Nothing like that. I am someone who is actively losing my hearing, will be completely deaf at some point, with absolutely no use of hearing aids because it is a bone conductivity issue, actively losing my hearing, and the amount of money I would have to pay to access courses for British Sign Language, because I have contacted speech and language about myself to say, this is what's going on, how can I access, support for courses and blah 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 to learn sign language. And I do love the fact that British Sign Language courses are now becoming, I mean, I think it's late in the game, but it's now becoming a course that you can do at college, which I think is absolutely amazing. The more the better. Please give us more of that. And that is something I might actively pursue myself. But I think it is absolutely disgusting that, not disgusting is probably the wrong word, but I do think it is not great that kids with additional support needs and the parents of those children with additional support needs are being pushed to learn this simplified version of signing where any signs can be modified at home to best support the child. But yeah, I do think it would be better to just teach the already established language. Anyone can go deaf. Anyone can end up with cognitive disabilities, which means they can't talk. Anyone could get throat cancer tomorrow and not be able to speak. You know, these are things that can actively happen and do actively happen, and there is already a language out there that supports these, but it's not being utilised enough. Like, British Sign Language is not, you know, obviously it is established for the deaf community, but it is also a language that we can utilise for many other disabilities, and it's being vastly underutilised, and it just boggles my mind, because back before I did my childhood practice training, back before, like, when Nathan was younger, I was more naive. My hearing wasn't as bad as it is now. I was like, obviously I went on the advice of the professionals, and, you know, oh, you've got a course for this, you've got a course for that, yep, sign me up, love to do it, you know, very optimist, trying to do what is best for my child. And now I'm sort of thinking, in hindsight, I did a disservice to my son, because now I have to use signs from something that might not be here in 10 years, that might not be taught in 10 years. And when I am gone, when me and his dad are dead and buried, or, you know, float away in the wind, who knows, I'm a organ donor, so anyway, just chop me up, hack me up, and chuck me in the bin. But anyway, yeah, when we're gone and there's new 18-year-old carers in his care facility, whatever that is, whatever that ends up looking like, fresh out of school, not having training on, you know, having training on, maybe hopefully having training there on using non-verbal communication like BSL, but not having training on Makaton because provisions have changed, services have changed, you know, the way we do things is different now. I mean, the way speech and language therapists do things nowadays is completely different to the way things were done only 5 years ago with my son. Now, instead of using, instead of using person first language such as child with autism, they are now using, you know, the sort of correct terms like autistic person, which is fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. I love that. And I was saying to the speech and language therapist, where we're going through the new system of how things are done, looking at the new courses that I'm obviously gonna attend, and she's like, give it 6 months and a sneeze and it'll all be changed and it'll all be different. And that is my major concern with Makaton and Sign Along. Yes, like, I love Mr. Tumble and Justin and what he has done for non-verbal communication. I just think I think the big hype came out then, and people have been running with it ever since. And I think, although it's slow burning, I think that's all it is. It is a hype, and services and the government are coming now to realise that why are we using this when we already have this? We need to better support more BSL teachers, more BSL learners. I think it's now being taught in some schools in high school, which is fantastic. And you know, as I said, absolutely anybody can go deaf at any time in their life for a multiple amount of reasons, or any other sort of, you know, disability, injury, disease such as cancer, etc., that can limit their communication. And the more people that know how to communicate non-verbally, the better. And obviously Makaton is not an established language, but British Sign Language is, and I think we really need to be supporting that. And obviously that's my rant for today. Welcome to my TED Talk. But anyway, yeah, the actual appointment with the speech and language therapist, it was like an hour and 45 minutes. It was absolutely great. So she was thrilled that Eowyn was using object signifiers. They have this system now that NHS, if you're seeing this, you really need to start funding. It's a V-Create system where the parent or carer uploads videos and photos of their child explaining what they're doing, etc. And then the professionals can access those videos and see that, so they can see their child in their own setting at home or wherever that is, and they can use that. I just need to open this door a little bit because it's whoa, didn't drop my phone at all. So the professionals can see that the child in their own setting, as opposed to coming out to a nursery setting or a clinical setting and seeing the child there, because they act completely differently. So the parent uploads these videos and stuff. I have uploaded so many videos. They were so thankful, because obviously the more people that utilise this service, the more chance it has of the NHS funding it. So please fund it. It's a great use. It's a great facility. It's just like a website, and I can't imagine it'll take that much money to fund, and definitely should be rolled out, especially considering the backlog of kids that are under assessment after COVID and what have you, etc. I mean, I myself was being assessed for autism ADHD prior to COVID, and I'm gonna have to chase that up again because I have not heard anything since COVID, and obviously that's been several years now. And a couple of people have said to me, like, one about my memory issues. I do have very, very substantial memory issues, and some other of my behaviours could be ADHD related. And I don't care about, you know, I don't actually care about being diagnosed. What I would like, and what I found helpful with my dyslexia assessment and diagnosis, was that sheet of paper that the psychologist gave me afterwards that said, this is how she exhibits and this is why. And that why is what I'm interested in. I don't care about, obviously people say the label, it's not a label, it's medical diagnosis, but I don't care about that aspect. I care about someone being able to help me explain myself better, if that makes sense. But anyway, very positive speech and language thingy. These courses, despite the fact that I may know the majority of stuff already on these courses, I am still going to attend these courses because I have been out of practicing since I was pregnant with Eowyn. As I said before, things change all the time. Practices and everything might change all the time. And I only know what I know. And the more education I can get on anything that will benefit my kids, the better. So yes, of course I'm going to go to all of these. But anyway, I'll keep you guys updated and I will catch you later. So goodbye for now, and I've not had a phone call yet, so hopefully things are going well at nursery. We'll see how that goes, and I might update you on the community page later, so look out for those. Okay, catch you guys. Bye.